Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families in the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, and yeah, it's a Saturday. That's a cool Banksy card, a really cool Banksy piece of art that was just done over in Europe somewhere, I think at the Marble Arch in London because of Extinction Rebellion. And last week we talked about despair. Good morning, all. Good morning. And I talked about how depressed I was and in despair I was until I read a Guardian article that said, feel guilty about that. And then Shahid Buttar said, go get involved in your community and take action. And I was like, well, I'm already doing action. I do this. What do you mean? And then it's like subconsciously I understood what he meant. I needed to do something different, more direct, something that I felt made a difference. This is it. From this moment, despair ends and tactics begin. So the new action, right? Yeah. Hey, morning, Laura. The new action, we got Pat Cote here, but the new action is directly volunteering for a specific candidate. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I just want to cover this. If you haven't joined Extinction Rebellion, you really should. Like, out of all the movements and things that have started, this one looks like it's really going to do what needs to be done, which is focus on the climate crisis so that we can all survive. All right. That 10-year window we thought we had, it's gone. There's a new scientist report that says we got 5 years because new information has come out since the report from IPCC, and it's much worse than what they did their report on, right? So the window keeps closing. So we really need to get involved with this. And I just, Extinction Rebellion sends me these beautiful newsletters, and they've got a ton of stuff going on, and they're all worldwide. They're causing havoc everywhere. They're doing it in a way that's non-violent, and it's working. And remember, we need that 3.5% of the population to move on one thing, and that's going to supposedly make change in a peaceful way. So I encourage everybody to join XR and get involved with that. However you can, support them in any way you can, because it's important. And there's my big opening speech. Good morning. And now here's everybody else. Here's Pat and Laura and Amos. Hi.
Morning.
Guys. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here. Hi, 25 of you watching right now. Laura, you're muted, dear. Nice.
Just as well. I said the same thing you did.
And Amos, what happened to my color correction? You went yellow again. I'll have to fix it. You're darker. I'll fix it.
Sorry.
It's gloomy in Amos's place right now, right? Rainy, gloomy.
Yeah.
Rainy. Yep.
Rainy.
Yeah, it's cold and foggy in Santa Cruz as well. Very drippy.
And Pat, you?
What's like?
Looking out my apartment window, looks nice.
All right.
I'll have to step outside, maybe, potentially.
You had some heat there this week.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's the show for today. It's weather where you are. Have a good one, everybody. It's
Predict shit libs.
Anyway, Pat's here because we had some, I don't even know what to call it, miracle. It's the miracle on Twitter Street. It was just unbelievable. I'm just going to have to show you the slide, and then we'll just get into it, because this just recently, the whole reason Peter Deuce and Peter Deuce's liaison existed, Peter Dow, apparently feels the burn, and he put out this article in The Nation, after months of self-reflection about my own role and probably his checkbook in the 2016 primary, I realized I was among the far too many Clinton and Sanders supporters who got caught up in an ugly family dispute that spiraled out of control. So he's flipped over, and then we have now Douche, because he doesn't want to pick on Peter, I guess. Apparently, Peter Dow has abandoned his core belief of having no core beliefs. My work here is done.
I don't doubt.
So, Pat, talk to us. What's up? And he unblocked you? Oh, that's you.
No, that was epic.
He unblocked me and has actually liked a few tweets. So kudos to him. But should we trust the guy? Who knows? But currently, I think his personal stock is just so low as a strategist. I mean, he worked on nothing but failed campaigns before 2016. Right. So, they lost the argument of ideas. Progressives won. He can't be out there championing Hillary's platform and whatnot. So there's two options. He came around, or he's unhireable, so he's just being more realistic now or trying to position himself for a job in the future.
Or he's selling a book.
And he's selling a book. That's one thing we both have in common.
When I saw that, when they announced that, because it wasn't a big hullabaloo, and I saw that, I go, well, boom. In fact, he says it in that first I'm Woke article that he posted, that go left Dems, the center is just GOP light. At the bottom it says, and coming soon, my book Digital Civil War. And that was when I knew it's a miracle, but it's a calculated miracle for marketing purposes.
Oh, hell yeah.
He wants to be one of the cool kids. I think he really would like to be liked and respected again, and which he's getting a lot of props from progressives, but man, is he getting bashed by the centrists.
Yeah, and I don't know whether to believe him or not, honestly. I mean, regardless, once you've lied for a living in the field, you should be pretty much ostracized for life, in my opinion.
No, but
we're talking about, journalism adjacent stuff, and he lies.
But that secures you a job on any number of MSM channels. I mean, that's pretty much if you're a good liar.
True. Yeah.
Consistently lying on command, staying on message, that's marketable stuff. Yeah,
but to his defense, I guess, which is another thing I never thought I'd say out loud, but to Peter Dow's defense. So one of his relatives followed me on Twitter, and we messaged each other at one point, and she sincerely believes his transformation, and she was blocked by him for sharing Peter Douche tweets.
Really?
So maybe there is some hope for humanity, maybe not, but either way, we'll call it a win for now.
Yeah, what he's saying is spot on. I mean, he really is. He's got the progressive messaging down, and what he's saying, I really have no argument.
So does it matter if he means it? As long as he's spreading the narrative, do we really care?
And that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I decided to not be Peter Douche anymore and be something else next. I'm taking the weekend to pontificate.
You've had a lot of input on that, I've seen on Twitter.
Yeah, I put it to a vote, and people seem to want me to go after Neera Tanden.
Yeah.
Which is a great target.
Who doesn't really?
But something tells me it's not the right fit. So superdelegates might decide this one.
Yeah. I think that my thought was that just personifying douche leaks and including all of your personas in there it kind of keeps it fair and keeps it from targeting one person specifically. And right. I saw Nate Pewter, I thought was a good recent addition.
Oh, yeah.
Nate Silver.
Nate Silver. I mean, so I already have Marcos Makes It So, which is Marcos Makitso, and they're kind of both polling guys. So that's the only catch about doing a Nate Silver.
Yeah. But he's just been having some horrifically stupid takes lately, so it came to mind.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, if you're a math and stats guy and your tweets are all emotion.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't do that.
Tells you everything.
Well, okay. So those of you who haven't gone to Douche Leaks, is it just doucheleaks.com, right?
Yeah.
You didn't really have to fight for anyone for that domain, I bet. But this particular article, your first unredacted piece from the Mueller report, it just still has me laughing because that is a dank meme that they've decided really killed it for Hillary. That's Bernie on there. This is good stuff. I really think you need to continue this. It's good for the revolution.
Yeah, and the site's, it's about half of the potential it's going to be. It's only been up for a couple of weeks, and I'm getting there, but it's going to have a lot more WikiLeaks kind of documents like that. That portion of it's going to grow, and then I've got 5 or 6 pundits writing, satirical articles, that kind of thing. But thank you.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
That's you
plug over.
I've enjoyed it.
I think you and Dow should go on a book tour together, and he can be like, "Here's my version." You can be like, "And here's something more close to reality."
He and I could just hug everywhere and preach unity.
Oh my God!
Believe this version. Believe this version. That's centrism. Well, anyway, awesome. Congratulations on accomplishing a major goal and swaying somebody to, I guess, the light side. We'll call it that for now.
Hey, if I had any part of it, I'll put that on my resume and my tombstone.
Hey, I have no doubt you did. I mean, that has been you've had such a consistent persona. Remember we talked last time you were on about the role of the comedian and the jester in political discourse, to point out that the emperor's got no clothes on, and I'm sure it had something to do with it.
Think about it this way: how many people in this world have somebody parodying them and doing a better job of that than them?
I appreciate
and being more popular. And listened to.
But how many people make it as easy as Peter Dow? That's the question. I need another target.
Very few
along those lines.
You do. Good luck finding somebody.
Right.
And the thing is, I will give it to Peter to at least soul search enough to go, when your parody is more popular than you, maybe you need to look at what's going on. So
it's a good sign. Yeah.
Good job. Congratulations. Thank you, Pat. Were you going to do anything? You want to plug anything you got going on besides douche leagues? You're going to be anywhere doing anything? Feeling a burn?
That's it. Well, I'm going to be doing I'm going to be covering the California convention.
Oh, great.
The Democratic convention. I got
cool.
a mic, a wireless mic, and a camera crew and the whole shebang.
Really?
So I'm going to go in there and do little gotcha questions to all the shitty California Democrats.
Is this going to be live or pre-recorded, or how are you going to do this?
We're game planning now, but I think it's going to be video clips put together, not live, because it's going to be more approaching the candidates in the press rooms and that kind of thing. Awesome.
Let me know if you need any help with that. I will.
So this is the end of May, beginning of June?
Yeah, very end of May. I think it's the 31st and then the 1st of June.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think that's phenomenal. That'll be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna do it like, if you ever remember the insult comic dog, if you ever saw his videos, that's kind of what I envisioned, but more douche.
With no puppets, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now that's not. You could have I'm sure your production team will figure that one out.
Douche. I don't want to get kicked out.
I just had a whole summer's eve, visual moment. And
you don't even have that section on your site yet. You really need to get on that.
Right.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Pat. Good to have you here. Amos, you want to take us into your story? You want to talk about Trump?
Sure. No, this is not a new story, but I've wanted to get into it a little bit and highlight it, because it's really important to see where Trump's priorities are and how absurd they are. So it's basically the proposed 2020 budget, of which you've heard a lot, I'm sure, how it's cutting social programs and this and that. And I wanted to highlight his position on renewable energy research. He's really basically taking the golf club to it. And they have reduced they're basically zeroing out the DOE Division of Energy Loan Program and ARPA-E and Energy. which have been he attempted cuts to them in the two previous budgets, but Congress has, in spite of that, slightly raised it in effect. But they're doing whatever they can to like destroy any funding for that, and their claim is that the funding should focus on basic science and clean energy technologies that make sense to us. That's what they say. But in reality, they've really like taken a knife to it. And if you look at the slide here, that's the ARPE program, and they're compared to the Obama era funding, you can see that they just like completely eliminated it. And I'll get into what the ARPA-E program is in a minute. And also they've done the same with regards to the weatherization assistance program and the also the EERE, Efficiency and Renewable Energy Office. They've gone from $2.3 billion previously to suggesting a $696 million budget, which is a 70% cut. So according to Carr, what's his name? Bill Carr, or
Well, I don't know.
According to Mike Carr, he was the number 2 in Obama's energy division, and he said it's basically a shutdown budget, which you could see why. So in addition to doing that, they're trying to siphon off. If that's not enough, they're trying to siphon off funds from that research budgets for green energies. For example, they're siphoning off $156 million to energy security and national security. And that's not even related. There's no mention of climate-related threats like the fires or anything like that. This is strictly as to the Russians getting into our grid and shutting it down, for example. And why they're putting the that burden on the green energy research, it has nothing to do with green energy research. Of course, they should be putting that on the current energy generators, oil and coal and so forth. There's no other logic other than trying to further reduce the available funds for green energy. And 100 million of it is supposed to be siphoned off to something that they call high efficiency, low emission modular coal plants. As well as modular plants for small nuclear reactors. I'm not sure nuclear reactors, there's a debate around that, but coal, they're trying to position coal as something that is still good and still should be promoted. And they're saying they can reduce the emissions significantly, but it's still going to do emissions. And there's other environmental costs such as the fracking impact and so forth that are or the other carbon costs footprint that this energy generation industry generates. So it's not great. So I think there's another slide there explaining. Yeah. It's explaining basically what the ARPA is doing, and both ARPA and the other organizations. So do Do you want to read that loud? Because I'm having a tough time seeing it.
I don't want to. I mean, so basically you're saying that, I mean, I don't even know which one you're on. This one?
The ARPA-E.
Okay. So it's basically says that it supports transitional energy projects that are too early for private sector investment and can be meaningful advance with a small amount of government funding. So, all right.
Yep.
Great. So this sucks. So basically what you're saying is they cut their budget.
They completely cut the budget for ARPA-E, and they are claiming that it's because there's duplication. But obviously, according to this information, that program has provided a lot of change in the industry. It's basically made energy, green energy cheaper, the production and so forth, and it's impacted a lot of jobs and so forth.
All right. So the bottom line in this report is that we already know that the Trump administration isn't interested in renewable energy, much more so than the typical centrist Democratic government, and so he's slashing all of the renewable energy resources and budgets, right?
That's correct, and I don't know if any of this is going to come to pass, because previously Congress has resisted it and actually slightly increased the funding for green energy, but it may have at some point chipping away and chipping may actually cause that. And I think instead of instead of greatly increasing those funds, because we need these new technologies to fix things regarding climate change, instead of doing that, they're doing everything in their power to cut that. And where do they want to push funds into building the wall and immigration and stuff like that? So you can see how the entire budgeting issue is so pig-headed and absurd.
Typical and standard of the administration to date. All right. Thank you so much, Amos. Good report. Laura.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about, what are you going to talk to us about?
I was following up on what I talked about last week about superdelegates, that the nice breakdown that we got from Don Ford, who has been involved at the DNC level in the reworking of the superdelegate rules for the convention. So what I didn't get to the punchline is we know that the path to victory without going to a second ballot is clear. You need to have 50% plus one of the available delegates, the pledged delegates, the ones that you win when you win a state, for instance. Those are the pledged delegates.
Right.
And there are 3,936 pledged delegates to be won.
All right. So
the winner needs 50% plus one. And the number to focus on then is 1,969. 1969. There you were born, John.
No, 70. Lori was born in 69. I was born.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
But still a good year,
Yeah. So my point. So that's it. That's what we need to focus on. We don't have to focus on anything else. Bernie's in a lane of his own. Joe Biden and the rest of the gang can all divvy up, the rest of the votes. Is the way it's looking now and just the way it feels. And they're all going to deny themselves the 15% that they need to even be viable to move forward in any meaningful capacity or get funding. So I guess my bottom line point is we have 1 million volunteers. So that means we've got 500 volunteers per delegate.
I like that number.
Yeah.
500 physical volunteers need to surround and threaten each delegate.
I was just thinking that.
It's just, that's not the way we roll. We've got, it's like that's the ratio, 1,969 delegates. And we're going to get a lot of those within the first couple months of the primaries because of New York and California being moved up.
Yeah.
So things are going to look a lot clearer by March in what took until June last time, and I'm really grateful for that. So it's just clear. We know who we're running against. We're running against Trump. we didn't know who we were running against in 2016. You know,
Right.
if we even got the nomination, so it's really clear. So that's what Bernie's campaigning against Trump right now. Yeah, it is primary. People are getting really pissed at him for not calling out the other candidates more and saying more mean stuff. It's like that's just not his style. He's like, no, you know, we got work to do. I don't want to waste my time yelling at other people. They can do that amongst themselves, you know, all they want. Anyway, I just thought that was a really clear number. 1969.
It is. I like
Woodstock.
that.
50 years ago. So easy to remember, and that's the eye on the prize. The other thing is I'm going to be going to a Bernie organizing event this afternoon. And if you don't know about Organize for Bernie today, hashtag, where have you been? Today's the day. There's I got the map up there. There's over 5,000.
Oh, it's over 5,000 now? Shit.
Yeah, because there's a bunch have been added just in the last couple of days. And all over the country and in Mexico. And I think there's even some in
Venezuela.
Socialist.
Everywhere. So
Awesome.
these are going on. And these are groups. These are people meeting in houses. And I'm going to some guy named Mark's house today in California. And there's like 10 other people that are signed up, and we'll just, you know, talk. My interaction with Burners has almost been exclusively digital, you know, working with you guys, being online, apart from going to one Bernie rally. So it's gonna be really fun to meet actual other people in my area that I can get involved with. And then also this last week, John and I met with Shahid Buttar's volunteer campaign, and we'll be getting involved with them. And John is going to talk more about that a little bit later. It's coming together. Campaigns are getting organized. We've got a ton of time to pull this all together. So I'm really encouraged by this organizing for Bernie. It's like we got the peeps. John Biden may have money by the bucket load, but he doesn't have people or policy or ethical standards. So,
and he's going to run out of buckets because they all maxed out already.
Yeah, exactly. True. Exactly. So I expect to see him come on top of a poll or two within the next couple of weeks, and then start dropping, and they'll figure out, you know, who's going to be the next flavor of the week. I don't know. And I also did want to give a brief plug to our Bernie merch shop.
All right. I want to plug Jim Lockett.
I've got my latest Bernie shirt that I got in the mail today.
Very nice.
I got a green one, and I got a blue one. Oh, here's the blue one. So I've got 3. So these are going to be what I wear when I go to like Bernie meetings and events.
That's like a dark blue. Dang.
Yeah, it's nice. His glasses don't show up well in the dark colors, but I like the dark colors. So anyway, I will put it in chat, but the merch shop is really easy to use, and you can go in there. And the nice thing is that you can edit the designs. I moved the Bernie's head up a little bit on this. It's just super easy. And you can also add in artwork. So if you've got an organization or a group and you want to throw in your logo, I believe they'll let you, throw it on the back or up on the top, move it around. Everything's completely customizable because it's print to order, and they'll print whatever you tell them to print. And it's not super, super cheap because it is print to order, but it's good quality, and it's done in Henderson, Nevada is where they're located, and they ship quickly, and it helps us keep the lights on. If you order from
I got a red one. It's really nice. It's deep red.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah.
And it's everything. It's mugs, it's backpacks. Every merch they have, you can put the design on it and choose whatever color you want. So you're not limited at all.
To be clear, this donation goes to help us. It doesn't help Bernie.
Yes.
So if you want to help Bernie, buy his merch from his people.
Yes.
All right.
Now this goes to help us talk about Bernie and support him.
Jim Lockett, thank you for $5. And
yay, Jim.
I'd love to talk about nuclear power as soon as fossil fuel companies die. So we can talk about thorium salt nuclear reactors, which I think are really cool, but they're not going to stop the climate crisis. So let's focus on priorities, my friend. All right, there. That's that.
Boom.
Back to volunteering, despair, candidates, Shahid. We got all sorts of stuff going on. It seems like whenever I get into this rut of down and I'm like, this sucks, everything sucks, things happen, universe picks up, and that happened again. I gotta get this thing switched over here. Hang on. There we go. And so a couple things. I told you at the beginning of the show that Shahid had said on in an interview that you got to get involved with community and take action if you're depressed or in despair about what's going on. We really don't have time. Those of us who are privileged enough, I'm talking white people that mostly watch YouTube and have time to do so around 10 o'clock on a Saturday. We've got more time to actually engage and do things and take action than people who are really poor, than people who are on the street, than people who are in prison, than people who are in a caravan trying to find a place to go where they're not getting abused and shit. So we have to not be in despair, which sucks because we spend our time, like me and Laura, Pat and Amos and some of us to more than others because we don't even go out into the real world. I stay here. We spend our time viewing thousands and thousands of things happening all day that are horrible. And even though they're not directly happening to us, it affects us because we're trying to change those things, and it's depressing, right? When you read that an entire emperor penguin colony just got wiped out because of extreme weather caused by us, it affects you because we're human, and that's horrific. And you bet I feel fucking guilty about that. But I can either feel guilty and sad and not do anything and wallow in my despair, or I can pull myself up and try to do something that I think is going to make a difference. And that's really been the key for me. What is going to fucking make a difference? Right? UHM does good things, and we do wonderful things in small doses for small candidates and stuff. And I really enjoy this. But for me, it's not enough to be doing about the climate crisis. But I don't like going out in public. So I decided that I was going to volunteer some of my personal time to Shahid's campaign. Because I have skills and time during the day that I can utilize for the campaign that they probably need, and they do, and it's really cool. And that made me feel like I was doing something. How does that connect with the climate crisis? Well, he's running against Nancy Pelosi, and Nancy Pelosi just doesn't give a fuck about the climate crisis or Medicare for all or anybody that's not part of her donor class. And she's made that very, very clear. Right? And I believe that Shahid has the best chance out of anybody of taking her seat. Now, yeah, it's a fucking long shot to fucking hell. But, for me, right now, I feel like it's going to matter. Even if he doesn't win this race, it's going to elevate him to a place where he could win the next one. Where he will be able to do more with his position. You know what I mean? And that's what matters. That's what's important. You can't look at it like, we lost, everything's fucked. You have to go, no, okay, so we lost it, but what did we gain for Shahid? What did we gain for the movement? What did we gain for the climate crisis? Right? So to honor Scott's legacy, they need video stuff, and I'm going to send them this. It's basically got Scott's camera, Scott's Rode microphone. I'm sending them a couple other things, mine in there, the DXA box of his. And this was the equipment that he used on the road. This equipment recorded Bernie and Nina and the DNC convention. This went all over the country with Scott. And I think it's more than appropriate that it goes to Shahid's team to help elevate his message. Because his message is basically one that Scott would have approved 100%. And the primary one is Medicare for all, with the climate change, with the climate crisis. Those are the top two things. Shahid actually is about social justice in general, which kind of wraps all of that together, right? But Laura also volunteered, and we're excited about helping him more. And she's down there so she can actually do more actual things, right? But I encourage everybody, join Extinction Rebellion, if nothing else, because you need to be involved in something that's directly attacking the climate crisis. But if that's not enough for you, or if you're really in despair about it, join an individual campaign. Every fucking campaign that's happening right now needs people. And they need people with all sorts of skill sets. All right? So just join a campaign. That's what Bernie's call is for today. The Bernie kickoff campaign, it's just a video. You need to watch it. They did it live, but the whole thing ends with go to app.berniesanders.com. because they want you to get involved directly with canvassing, with talking to friends, with the ground game for the Bernie movement. And I suggest you do the same for a local candidate in your area. All right? Because they all need help. And for me, I'm still depressed. I'm still depressed as fuck. I still feel hopeless a lot of times. But I have something I can do that gives me purpose, that takes my mind off that makes me feel like, I'm doing this, and this is good, right? So it's not like it's going to make everything happy. It's not a pill, but it's something, right? So I encourage you all to do that, and I know that these three are all involved locally with shit as well, because you have to be, right?
And just a side note, I met Shahid at the Bernie rally in San Francisco. Had no idea who he was. He was watching the rally right next to me.
Oh,
nice
very
guy.
cool. He's amazing. He's so eloquent, such a great speaker.
I really admired the way he led the volunteer. We had about maybe 20 people in a Zoom meeting with him this week. And he was so respectful of everyone, so grateful, and so willing to listen to everyone else's input. He had a slide deck that he was going through the different tasks as people were suggesting new stuff. He was adding them right in, really empowering people to step in and do what they can in the way that they can, in the way that they do. So if you're nervous at all about joining campaign, know that may be what it is. It's an online, it's a conference call. It's a, what do you do well, and how can we fit that in, and what do you suggest? And those are the kind of campaigns that, hopefully they don't degenerate into, squabbling and infighting, which is what you hear so often. Although not so much the grassroots campaigns, I guess. I was very impressed. Really nice group of people, all really smart, all really excited, and it'll be really interesting to be on the inside of a campaign like that.
Agreed. It's it was exciting. That was it's like doing this every day was like, this is what's happening. But that was exciting and uplifting. So, and Roar Media, thank you for your donation. Loves our sisters and brothers at UHM. We are supporting Shahid Buttar 2020.
Yay!
So
all right. Their ears must have been burning.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is this you or me? Last week on UHM, this is you.
Who, what?
We're at last week.
Wait, we are at last week. Oh, yeah. Hold on. I don't have my slides in front of me. There we go.
Oh, that's there. Right.
Oh, you know what we don't have in there? We don't have David. I accidentally deleted him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had David. What happened to David?
Oh, I know. I deleted him because I thought that was from my last, because it was in my last week's slides, which I was showing good hygiene.
Well, you keep talking about this. I'll see if I can drag it back in. So.
Yeah, do that. And that's the only one I can talk about because I wasn't on the progressive order.
Oh, all right, everybody. So talk about David.
So you start with progressive Oregon, and I'll find David's slide.
Hi, everybody. Just get that David's slide. So last week on UHM, we had national popular vote passes in Oregon. Larry did this. Was this the last one? I guess it was. 14th? Yeah. Yes. And this was good. This was talking about, No, we had a 21st. This is not last week. This is old. I didn't put the new one in here. That's my fault. Larry talked about other stuff. He actually talked about the DPO. There's some crap going on in there, and I don't even have the right slide in here. And he's doing a Bernie update as well. Let's just jump to the new stuff because I didn't have that right. So here. So there's some stuff going on with the Democratic Party of Oregon, and Larry posted a video about that. We did that last week. And it looks like the chair and admin is doing the same BS as the last chair and admin, and there's actually going to be an effort to a recall of the chair. Now, that's coming. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, but I just wanted to say that, Larry, if you go back and watch last week's Progressive Oregon, which I believe we pre-recorded, it talks about the delegate selection plan and what was so critical. There's Nimmo, the cat, showing up almost at the end of the show. Hey,
that sounded like Nimmo.
Yeah. And he'll jump on my lap in a minute. So anyway, that's important. Just know that there's bullshit going down in the Democratic Party of Oregon. Larry Taylor has been addressing it. He's a registered parliamentarian. He's been taking a lot of criticism by members of the DPO for his actions, but quite frankly, he's the only one actually trying to get them to do the right thing, to follow the rules, right? And I really hope that other progressives in Oregon that are members of the Democratic Party will stand behind Larry in his effort to get our party to actually follow the bylaws of the party, which is kind of important if you're going to have a party, right? So I urge you all to watch Larry's videos and know what's going on, because the guy knows what's going on. He's not running for, this isn't a power play. Nowhere in there is Larry running for any fucking office. He's just trying to get the party to do the right thing. All right. So there, I'll go there. Tomorrow we have this, and this is fucking awesome. Mark Gamba is the mayor of Milwaukee, Oregon. I used to live in Milwaukee. And they've been doing really good as a city, apparently, since I left. And not that they were a bad city beforehand. Anyway, he looks like Jeremy Corbyn, sort of, and he talks a lot like Bernie Sanders, and he definitely is a progressive in his views, and he wants to run against Kurt Schrader. Kurt Schrader is like the Joe Manchin of Oregon. All right. Kurt Schrader votes with the Republicans often. He's sponsored by Comcast and many other corporations. He basically handles the financial industry for us. And he votes with Walden, who's the only Republican we have in our 5 House reps. He votes with Walden often. And we need to get rid of him. And I posted on Uphill Media, there's a video that I grabbed from K2 News. That's a nice 20-minute interview with Mark Gamba. I suggest y'all watch it. We'll have him on tomorrow to talk about his run against Kurt Schrader. And I really encourage everybody to share that and watch, because we'll get to ask him questions that weren't asked by K2 News. All right. He says he likes Pete, but Judge, and I got to ask him what's going on there with that. I don't think he knows Pete's policies, so I'm going to have a slide for Mark tomorrow to show him Pete's policies of those that I can find. It'll probably just be Pete's platitudes.
Nobody knows Pete's policies yet.
All right, it'll be Pete's platitudes about policies.
Pete's platitudes.
His main policy is stopping Medicare for all.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. That's to clarify. I'm sure Mark won't be happy with that, because I know he wants to implement Medicare for all. And Mark's biggest issue is the climate crisis. So very excited about that. Then Larry will be doing this at 2. And this is a special thing. Another Robert's Rules, recalls and removals when the romance is over, because I guess we're going to do a vote to remove the chair because the chair has decided not to follow the rules. And that's why they're there. Their role is to facilitate, not to come in like a fucking emperor and do whatever they please. It's just really irritating when this happens, you know? Anyway, so that's that. I encourage you to join that tomorrow. And then we already talked about the kickoff. Go to berniesanders.com/kickoff. Watch the video. Get the app.berniesanders.com. Engage. That's basically what's going on. And now, here's Laura with We the People.
No. Back up. Slide 29. I made one for David.
Of course you did. Where is it?
Slide 29.
Oh, that slide. You had that one in there already. It just doesn't have to.
I know, that's the one, but that's the one I took. That's
all right. So what is it?
Evidently. So I just find it. So anyway, yeah, David Hildebrand is running for Northern Vice Chair for the California Progressive Caucus of the Democratic Party, which is the longest title I've ever heard for anybody's position in politics.
It is.
It was really interesting. It's always great to have David come on. He works in Sacramento. He's really knows, kind of what's happening behind the scenes. And this, I think, is a great next step for him after running for California Senate against Feinstein, which he swore he would never do again, because I'm sure it was hard. He really prefers to be kind of a behind the scenes organizer, which is, I totally relate to, because that's kind of where that John and I are falling on the volunteer spectrum as well. Mm-hmm. But this is great. He is going to be, the vice chair, so assisting the chair. And the Progressive Caucus is one of the many caucuses that meets with the California government. And they represent all kinds of people. These guys make sure that progressive ideas, get heard and put in the platform, et cetera. So it'll be really interesting to have him check in periodically with the race and what's going on there, and see what's going on behind the scenes. So it was really terrific to have him on the show again. Can
I just add that I live in Sac, and if I go to any progressive event within a 2-hour radius, David will be there.
He's there.
Automatic.
Totally. Yeah, you saw him at the rally too, right?
I saw him at the rally. I saw him at every Bernie event I've gone to. I mean, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's really good, and he's got he knows what he's doing. And this isn't. We asked him. I said, "Do you need volunteers? Do you need money?" He goes, "No, this is really. It's not that type of role. It's not where he's got to go do stump speeches. He just needs to be able to get in there and do the work." So that's a different, and that was interesting to me too. Is like when you talk about running for office, you think about having to be like running for Congress or whatever, and being part of a big campaign and running against someone and having to have lots of money. I mean, a lot of roles that you can run for, offices you can run for, are uncontested and need filling and want people. And right. So it's not necessarily something you have to sell your soul for. You can just find something smaller that you can get in and fill a role and go from there.
Very true. Thank you, Oz, for your donation.
Well, thanks, Oz. I apologize. Evidently, I look like a rabid raccoon today, and I apologize. I didn't. That really wasn't. That was the look. That's so I hear.
Oh.
I don't know. Wasn't the look I was going for.
And what's next? Then we have, right?
Yes. Oh, and our next We the People is on May 7th. We are meeting Joshua Collins. So don't look at the date on the card if you can read it.
Yeah,
he is a 25-year-old truck driver running for Congress in Washington State District 10. That's the Olympia area. And he's kind of a new voice in the progressive movement. He is extremely pro-labor progressive platform. He's on Twitter a lot and kind of picking up steam. And we're really looking forward to talking to him. Seems like a sharp cookie.
Awesome. Thank you. I am looking forward to that. And is that it? Is that all we have booked right now? Is him coming up with anybody else? I saw a thing from Rick, right? Rick Shepard. Is he running again?
Yes, Rick. I put out notes to Rick Shepard and Angelica Duenas.
Yeah,
I interviewed Angelica on Progressive California last spring. And then Rick Shepard is in Nevada District 2, and we interviewed him on We the People. And I learned this week that both of them are running again. So I've reached out to them to, come talk to us again. Tell us what you're doing.
I love it. I love hearing that people are running again, whether it's for the same or something else, because that means that somebody with experience has decided they're okay getting in and getting beat up again, because it is the hardest thing to do.
Well, and sadly, name recognition is such a key part of it that a lot of these candidates have no shot the first time around, just based on that alone.
Well, Shahid was a perfect example. He came in 3 months before the primary, and actually got a respectful amount of vote from that. And but the interesting thing was when we said, "Well, congratulations for running again," he said, "I don't know if that's the right word." He says, "I've just, she's my representative in the district where I live, and someone's got to take her down, and it might as well be me." So, but he knows what a tough road it can be, and he's still doing it anyway, and that's probably why we like him.
Yeah, both David and Shahid ran in moonshots, and now they have some serious cred, and that's what matters, right? And that's why David can run for the role he's running for. Is like everybody knows who the fuck he is, right? He did the hard work last time because I think he traveled the whole state.
Yeah, I think he only missed a couple of counties.
And he did that without a private jet, unlike Diane. That's what I'm
part of the asymmetric war that we have, because a candidate that runs as a corporatist is going to. There's a lot of incentive there because there's gains to be made on a personal level, financial level, whatever. With a candidate like this that's on the progressive side, there's nothing but sacrifice and pain. So you can see how it's asymmetric. You have many more people who would be willing to jump in on the corporatist side than people who are going to selflessly represent as a progressive.
Absolutely. And to some extent, that's because we're stuck in a capitalist wheel and we got to make money to survive, right? If we're willing to sacrifice our principles, which is perfect. Thank you for your segue, Amos, because we witnessed a sad passing of, So Simone Sanders is now supporting Joe Biden. Don't know why. Simone was with Bernie Sanders' campaign, and I don't know where she went after that, or she was Hillary before that, or Bernie after.
She went over to the Hillary side of things. She was the infamous campaign mole who was sharing Sanders' campaign intel with people she oughtn't to have been.
Okay.
Good riddance.
Well, yeah. So I mean, she announced it the other day, and I was like very sad to see that you're going to the dark side. But then today, it was just like basically trying to push Joe as it's really sad to see her trying to push Joe Biden as something other than a piece of shit. I'm like, you're polishing an old white turd. It's all you're doing. And what a job.
Especially when back in February, she said that he was overhyped and that he shouldn't run. And what else did she? Yeah. She said, and that about something about no more old white men, and she was completely dismissive. But evidently that there's a fat paycheck
she must have talked to Peter Dow. He's like, no. I don't know. It's fucked up. It's too bad, but whatever. It is what it is. And lastly, there was a couple of climate stories in the rundown. I think I dropped them in. If not, I'll get all the links in later because I don't remember if I actually put them in. Sorry, everybody. It's kind of a weird morning. The day after Easter is the best day to shop for weird shit. This is, I just want to show you guys, these are two things that were available. One of them I have behind me. It's fucking huge. You can't even tell how big it is in there. It makes the Peeps look bigger. The Peeps, pancakes and syrup Peeps, because last year's flavor was not as gross. The other thing, though, is Selfie Bunny. No, it's not. Here, hang on. Where's me? That's you. There's me. This is how you market Easter to tweeners without the Jesus stuff, right? So you have a, I don't know, multicultural bunny holding a selfie
selfie bunny.
It's a chocolate bunny. The idea is that you get to do these cutouts here and dress your selfie bunny and then eat it, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, so the big question is it hollow or solid? And I can imagine the selfie bunny is probably hollow.
Probably hollow. And there's buddies. You can collect all four. Okay. This is, how do you market Easter to tweeners? This is the most fucked up shit I've seen so far. But that's going back here. It's permanent.
Oh, yeah. Somebody sold that idea and somebody thought it was a good idea. So there you go.
He is
the
risen.
Smartphone is not edible, is it?
Oh, the whole thing. It's chocolate. Fuck yeah. I mean, nothing says he has risen like a chocolate edible selfie bunny. Yes. All right. Anyway, that's our show. I don't think I have it. The song we're going out with is for my cat claws the fuck out of my hand here.
Wait.
What?
Did you didn't mention
we did mention
about Shahid and Gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, this is something that you're cooking up. We want to get Shahid Buttar and Mike Gravel, who is also running for president. We've talked about him before, and we want to get them together and do a special interview show between the two of them. And Shahid is a huge fan, and Gravel is definitely an amazing character. We really want to give him some props. We want to get him on stage so that he can completely skewer all the centrists right and left and say all the things that Bernie can't say.
Right.
So stay tuned. We don't have that scheduled yet, but we are working on it.
Make that happen. I would love to watch that.
Well, so what she's trying to say is that we actually have a confirmation from Gravel's team that we will be doing this. We just don't have a date. So we actually have an agreement to have Shahid Buttar and Mike Gravel on a show together to discuss whatever the fuck they want to talk about. Yeah. And that's what we'll do. So,
they could read the Pentagon Papers and I would just be fine.
Fine by me. Right? And if you watch the interview we did with Shahid, he mentions Gravel. And I didn't even catch it at the time because he pronounced it Mike Gravel. And that
we all thought it was gravel.
It's like, who the fuck is he talking about? And then I went back and played the piece and I'm like, oh, we need to get these two together because Shahid's been following this guy's legacy in terms of work, right? So it's a perfect pair, and my favorite thing is Shahid's team responded to us and said, "Oh, we've been following Gravel's team responded to us and said, we've been following Shahid. We like what he's doing. So that's huge. So if you haven't donated $1 to get Mike Gravel onto the debate stage, please do. They just need 65,000 donations from individuals. That's it, right? Does that have to be separate individuals, or could I do like 10?
65,000 donors. So it doesn't have to be a lot. It only has to be $1, but you only need to do it once.
Right. Right. So that's it.
And tell your friends.
$1 to hear him say one thing that Bernie can't say.
Right.
That's
just one thing.
Right. I mean, there's going to be nobody else on that stage that will be able to say what he can, and that's what's going to be powerful. Right.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Gravel is like, he's cranky, drunk, gives no shits Bernie. Not that he's really drunk. I'm not suggesting he's drunk.
Bernie's sassy brother. Yeah.
Unfiltered after hours.
Yes, there you go.
Well, he's to the left of Bernie too. So by contrast, he makes Bernie look more and more in the center, which really Bernie is, because the whole rest of the team is so far right they see him anymore. But so that'll be a great dynamic if we can pull it off. I think he's about a third of the way there. He's probably got about maybe 30,000. He might be up to close to half, but he's not there yet. So, and if you haven't followed his team does an Instagram that is hysterical. So
really?
Go find Mike Gravel. Oh yeah. He's that one that did that meme about Pete Buttigieg and hey dude, have you turned in your policy paper yet? It's due today.
Oh,
you can copy mine. Hurry. It's like,
yeah, they've got a great team working there. Young folks working over there.
Yeah, they understand the young folk stuff. So that's
all
cool.
right. Well,
ask him about Cory Booker.
Why?
There's a quote.
Oh yeah, he wants to introduce him as the esteemed, senator from Pfizer or something like that.
Oh.
He said really funny things about Booker. So.
Great, good. Well, of course they're appropriate.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, 49 of you watching right now. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. And
Are we doing this in an hour this week? This is good.
Yeah, we closed it out in an hour. That's what it's supposed to be. Of course, if we had Marcus in here, we would have gone on normal time because he would have talked about
that's
stuff. All right. And we wish Marcus well.
Marcus not feeling well today, guys.
Scorpion shirts for Marcus. All right. All right. I'm still loving you, my friends. And I know that when you feel better, you will rock XR like a hurricane. I'm telling you. So Marcus is not feeling good because he opted to get in shape the last 2 weeks, and I think his immune system was like, dude.
Shock.
Yeah. So he's sleeping it off right now. Thank you so much, Pat Cote, for coming on and talking to me.
Hey, thanks for having me. You're always enjoy it here.
Yeah, I'd love to have you. Love your perspective. Continue doing what you're doing because it is important to the revolution. Please.
Yeah.
Likewise.
And definitely let's talk about what you're doing for the convention, because that will be fun to help with that.
That's going to be fun. When is that? When is the convention dates?
Yeah, so the California Democratic Convention is the end of the month, May 31st and June 1st. And I've got a video team, a wireless mic, and a press pass, and I'm going to make some trouble for them.
That's fucking awesome. That's awesome. Well, I hope we can, like I said, I'd love to work together or at least rebroadcast your stuff. So we'll talk. I think that would be
awesome.
I provide tech support for you. Amos, thank you so much for talking to us about Trump. No one wants to talk about Trump, but I appreciate that you do anyway. Thank you for that. And are you getting involved in, are you doing a kickoff? What are you doing out in your way? Are you going to get involved?
I am, but I joined the Extinction Rebellion.
Sweet.
I'm waiting there's a branch already started up in Jersey, in North Jersey. I'm looking forward to connecting with them.
Awesome.
And just generally, Bernie.
That's awesome. Thank you. All right, I should have had this shot figured out already. We're going out with Bernie's Backstreet Boys. This is a Backstreet's Back 2020 parody because we all need more Backstreet Boys. Whatever. I love it. I love all this stuff. If you guys know of any good Bernie songs, Bernie videos, that's what we're going to play. Send them to us. We're building a catalog. Thank you. Laura, you were going to say?
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. Have fun organizing. And we want to hear what everybody does.
All right. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
Brothers and sisters, we have a lot of work in front of us.
Everybody, fix the country. Everybody, time to shed some light.
Bernie is back.
Bernie's back, all right. Hey, hey. Oh my God, he's back again.
I'm running for president.
Brothers, sisters, everybody sing. Gonna beat the Donald, show you how. We'll get Bernie Sanders to kick him out. Yeah, yeah. He's the original. Yeah. He is the only one. Yeah. That said it all before. Yeah. He can stop the corporate greed and get some Medicare for all. Everybody. Yeah. Vote for Bernie. Everybody. Last chance to make it right. Bernie's back, alright.
And it scares the hell out of the establishment.
Alright.
You are now officially on burn notice. Here comes Bernie!
They say he's not a real Democrat. Show us your hands if you just don't care. Democratic Party's got a chance to change. Will they feel the burn or get Trump again? He's the original. He is the only one that said it all before. There are Americans in need. We have to balance things for all. Everybody, fix the party. Everybody, last chance to make it right. Bernie's back, alright. Alright.
The struggle continues.
So everybody, everywhere, don't fall for all the media smear.
Personally, I think he's missed his
Bernie's
time,
trying
but
hard to make you understand. We are the richest country. Don't say we can't spend to end.
Poverty,
Corrupt campaign finance system,
income inequality,
Jails and incarceration.